All right, so next you want to download your image 5 of cheese. Go ahead and drag and drop that here on top. We definitely want to size this up. It's a really small piece of cheese. Go ahead and hit enter. Now go over and rasterize your layer. And I'm going to show you a nice little trick with the magic wand. So with your magic wand selected, normally you know how you have to do this. You have to click and then you hold shift to select all the other colors. Up here on your magic wand's options bar, you have an option called contiguous. And if you uncheck that, what it does is if I select white in my image, it is literally going to select every single white part of that. Okay. So once you do that, go ahead and check that back, because if you leave that off, it is going to mess you up later. And with this selected like so, go ahead and hit the layer mask, Control I to inverse. And we want to make this piece of cheese maybe a little more transparent, because maybe let's say it's a really thin piece of cheese. So on your layers panel, you have an opacity and fill setting. They're kind of like the same thing. Like if I take this down to 80%, it looks like that, as you can see. And then if I select my fill and do about 80%, looks the same. So go ahead and set one of these to 80% because we want a really nice thin piece of cheese. And then now we're ready to add our condiments. So some things here on the layer panel is you have these buttons and they all do something different. So here you have your delete layer. This is to add a new layer. So let's go ahead and click that because we want to create a blank new layer. But you can actually title layers. So I'm going to go ahead and double click the text here on this new layer 1. And we're going to title it Mayo. Okay. And then you have a folder icon here. So if you select, let's say we want to put all of our turkey, well actually let's put everything in here in a folder. So select your top layer, hold down your shift key, and see with shift held down, it allows you to select multiple layers at once. Select those, and then hit this group button. So this is to create a new group. See how it puts it in a nice folder? So that'll help keep you organized. So I'm going to go ahead and title this Contents. Okay. And then hitting this little triangle here on the side, the carrot shape, will open it back up. So depending on what layer you have selected, that's the one that you're going to be working on. So make sure you pay attention to that as you're working. All right, as we keep going, you have your adjustment layers, and this is actually what we're going to do from now on. Previous to this, we would go to image at the top and go down to adjustments. We're going to actually, this one is a lot more better. So if we ever do any adjustments, you're going to use this button here. Of course, you got your layer mask. This is your layer styles, which we're going to use here in a second. Then you have link layers. So let's say we want to make all of the turkey slices connected. So if I select my first piece of turkey, go ahead and select this, hold down shift to select additional layers, and now go ahead and lock them together. See the chain links? So if I have one turkey selected, and I grab my move tool, see how they all move together because they are linked together. Okay, so that is linking layers. All right, let's keep going. So click on your Mayo layer. So that is a brand new blank layer. It doesn't even look like you have anything. Grab your paintbrush. Set your paintbrush color here, this foreground color, to white. Okay, so I'm selecting white up here on the color picker. Hit OK. And you want to set your brush setting. Let's set it to, I would say about 70 pixels. And then make the hardness about 95%. So now on your Mayo layer, go ahead and paint on mayonnaise. Okay. And we're going to make this look 3D. That is what that FX button is for. So if you select add a layer style, we are going to go ahead. Let's do bevel and emboss. And you'll see this box pop up. And you'll see we have these, it's making it look somewhat 3D. So you can change these settings, so I'm making see how I'm making it look thicker. Here you have the depth. If you want to kind of tone that down, it's up to you. You can soften your edges a little bit. And then here you have shadow. If you want to tone down your shadow to make it not so dark, you can do that. But your mayonnaise should look three-dimensional. Hit OK. So that is one of your layer styles. So let's go ahead and add another layer and title this ketchup. And now grab your brush tool again. This time we're going to make the hardness 100%. Set your brush size to, let's say, about 40. Change your brush color to red. So I'm going to take this slider and go all the way down and select kind of a mid-tone red around here. And then go ahead and paint your ketchup on there. Make sure it's on your ketchup layer. If you look over here, the eyeball icons, that's how you can check. See how I can turn that on and off? And then again, FX, bevel and emboss. And we want to make this look 3D. So I'm going to tone down my size and my softness. Maybe bring up my depth a little bit, so that way it looks a little more 3D. Hit OK. Finally, add your next layer, and this layer is going to be mustard. And you want to paint, change your paint color to like a yellow. Okay. And then go ahead and paint on your mustard, however you want. All right, so go down to FX again, bevel and emboss, and we're actually going to do technique, chisel hard. We're going to give that mustard some texture. And you'll see you have different options here. We're going to leave it on inner bevel. And we can adjust the size, soften it if you want. Okay, so just soften it up just a little bit and hit OK. So here I have my settings. It doesn't have to be exact, but it should give it a little bit of texture. All right. So from here, go ahead and close this up, save your work, and you're ready to turn this in.